I'm going to introduce the next inductee. I've actually never met Sonnie Lien, but I've heard a great deal about him from different sources. First, when I started at leading hotels in the world in 2008, I got a letter, a real letter, like in the mail, not an email, with some photos in the envelope from another Hotelie. Many of you know Rudy Munster, class of '62. Rudy congratulated me on joining leading hotels and shared some of the stories about his past involvement with leading hotels. The photos that he shared were he and Sonnie Lien, another Hotelie, opening sales offices across Asia for leading hotels. Now, Sonnie at the time was running the Mandarin Singapore, no affiliations to the Mandarin Oriental company. Mandarin Oriental is a colonial company in Hong Kong, but which was barred from using the Mandarin name because Mandarin Singapore was already there. That was a little bit of editorial there. And Mandarin, the Mandarin Singapore was a member of leading hotels, and Sonnie was helping leading the people that he pays money to provide services. He was helping leading to grow because he knew if leading was successful, he would be more successful as well. So another source that I heard about a great deal about Sonnie was around 1995, when I was working in Hong Kong, and the chapter was planning its very first Asia Pacific Regional Conference for CHS. That was the very first one, was I think 1995. And I remember that the leadership of the chapter talked a lot about how Sonnie was bringing people together throughout Asia, a very, very large geographic area with really very few members. And again, Sonnie saw the strength in these bonds that we all have something in common as hotels. And then lastly, in terms of the source, I heard from Sonnie's son, Lien, class of '88. Lien and I worked together. I had the pleasure of working with Lien at Western Asia Pacific as well as Starwood Asia Pacific, where he was the Chief Development Officer. There, with Lien, I learned a bit about Sonnie opening new markets in developing markets, like in China, in Malaysia, and in Vietnam. Keep in mind, 1993 was about the time that John Kerry went to Vietnam to try to normalize the relationship between Vietnam and the US. A couple of years later, Sonnie was already there looking at developing resorts in Vietnam. But, in the 90s, people didn't think about going to Vietnam for sun, fun, and beaches, right? But Sonnie saw the opportunities. What I learned about Sonnie is that he's like a zoom camera lens, right? He zooms in to focus on some of the smallest details, and then he can zoom out to a wide angle to see much, much bigger picture than anyone else. For those of you not familiar, Hainan chicken rice is a national dish in Singapore and many other Asian markets. But it's a hawker store food, right? It's like the street hot dogs of New York. And certainly didn't belong in a luxury international hotel. But Sonnie made it famous in his hotel restaurant. Not only did he, carry it out, like in putting it on the menu, he made it known as the best Hainan chicken rice in Singapore. Sonnie was a trailblazer. He promoted his communities, not just himself, but his communities. Whether it's a hotel, whether Singapore as a destination, whether it's with the leading hotels of the world, in Cornell, particularly, he took ownership of his communities. Ownership this is his vested interest. He is a member. He's a citizen of these communities, not ownership as in I possess these. And he didn't mind other people copying him in some of the things that he's done, because chances are he's already moved on to bigger, better things. Sadly, he passed away in 2013. So I present to you Sonnie T.W. Lien, class of 68, as an inductee of the class of 2024 Cornell Hotelie Hall of Fame, and to accept on his behalf his son, Sasha Lien. No, Lien?